If the Texans want to walk out of the Colts Stadium on Sunday with a victory, they're going to have to nail these three keys in the game. The three keys to winning on Sunday, getting the season started with a victory. We'll talk about those, plus the final win-win, loss-loss game, the schedule prediction, the record prediction coming your way during this live stream. Appreciate you watching. Give me a thumbs up on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Get live in the comment section as well. And if you're watching this after the fact, well, there's still plenty of time to get into the comment section as well. Join the Survivor Pool. The link and the password in the description down below. You beat me, you win a prize. You win the Survivor Pool, you win an even bigger prize. Excited to have everybody as the NFL season is just hours away from getting started with the Chiefs and the Baltimore Ravens. Plus, we'll talk a lot about that Sunday matchup, the Colts and the Texans. Appreciate everybody jumping in. Let's jump into the keys to this one. So, key or worry number one for this matchup is Jonathan Taylor cannot win the game here for the Colts. Like, this is a guy that is a absolute nightmare for the Houston Texans. He has 900 yards of offense against the Texans in 6 games against the organization. He is an absolute beast on the field. And Matt Burke, the defensive coordinator, talked about him. He has a tremendous respect for Jonathan Taylor. How couldn't you? He's one of the best running backs in football. We're not that far removed from Jonathan Taylor being one of the top players in the NFL, voted on by NFL players. That was the case just a couple of years ago when Jonathan Taylor was, I believe he was third, or at least, very least, he was in the top 10. Now, you don't stop Jonathan Taylor. Like, that, I think, is the biggest thing here that I want to get across. You can't stop Jonathan Taylor, but you can keep him and his effect on the game from making everything else easy for the Indianapolis Colts. If Taylor is moving and he is controlling this game for the Colts, here are the things the Texans can't do. They probably can't rush the passer effectively. Okay? A good rushing attack is going to keep the Texans from being able to rush the passer. If Anthony Richardson's got to drop back, he's got to hit 3rd and 9, 2nd and 8, 3rd and 13, things like that, he's going to make a mistake. If he's got to hit these little quick dump offs to Adonai Mitchell or Michael Pittman or to his tight ends or to Taylor himself, Richardson can do that on a pretty consistent basis. Go back and watch the game last year against the Texans. A bunch of quick, short throws, and he marched that thing right down the field. In addition to making it easy for Richardson to throw the ball, if Jonathan Taylor's running the football really well, it's going to be harder to figure out Anthony Richardson's rushing and when he starts to take off for the Colts. So not only will it be difficult to rush the passer because you're going to have a hard time putting them in 3rd and long, 2nd and long situations because Taylor's gobbling up 6-7 yards per carry on early downs, okay? But it's going to make Richardson's rushing more effective and unpredictable and harder to game plan and scheme for as the game gets going. So those are some of the early things that you lose with Jonathan Taylor. The other thing is he will wear you down. Think about the Carolina Panthers game and the Atlanta Falcons game from last season. It felt like the defense just got beat up a little bit by the offense having quick 3 and outs and then getting back out there on the field. Atlanta ran the ball okay. They stayed on the field a lot there in the second half, as did Carolina, and just wore the defense down, and they weren't there to make that key play at the end of the game to keep Carolina from getting the first down and running the clock out, to keep Atlanta from getting into field goal range and winning on a field goal. They just didn't have that last little bit of juice. Taylor can take that away from you if he's running the football effectively. Look, if he's ripping off some big plays here or there, but you mix in a couple of stops, you put him in 2nd and long, 3rd and long, Richardson will make a mistake, and the Texans can take advantage of it. Either it's a dropped pass, a bad pass or an interception or an overthrow. Next thing you know, the Texans force a punt. They're out there on offense. So that, to me, is don't let Jonathan Taylor dictate how this game is played. He's going to get his. I very fully believe he's going to have close to 100 yards rushing or maybe more. in this matchup. I like this Texans defense. I believe they're improved over previous years, but I believe Taylor's still really good. This offensive line is still really good, and they're going to run the football. But he can't dictate how the game is played. If he takes over, the Texans will have a really hard time winning this football game. That, to me, is really the big defensive key. Pittman and Mitchell as a rookie, Pierce, the tight ends, Richardson's running. Like that, to me, doesn't take over the game on Sunday. Jonathan Taylor can take over the game, and if he does, it will be a hard time seeing the Texans come out with a victory. So limit Taylor. Don't let him control the football game is key number one for me. Key number two is the interior offensive line pass blocking. I'm talking about Kenyon Green, I'm talking about Juice Scruggs, and I'm talking about Shaq Mason. Those three guys have got to be excellent. I trust Laramie Tunsil and Titus Howard to handle the tackles well enough in this matchup. Okay. I trust Laramie Tunsil against Latu, the first defensive player drafted in this year's draft, a really talented and well-developed pass rusher as a rookie. And I know he's pretty darn good because Nick Caserio just kind of volunteers his name in interviews. And if Caserio thinks highly enough of a player to call him out by name, usually that player's pretty good. So I trust Tunsil on Latu. And even though Kwity Paye is a speed element that Titus Howard may have a moment or two where he has an issue, I trust those tackles to pass block really well. Well, what's the quickest way to the quarterback? It's up the gut, it's through the middle. And I've sat here and watched all of training camp. I've watched all of the preseason, and I see Mario Edwards and Foley Fadukasi, who are not well known for their ability to rush the passer, darting into the backfield and being a bit of a headache for CJ Stroud in practice. And there's two ways to look at that. Oh, okay, Fadukasi and Edwards finally figured this damn thing out, and they're rushing the passer really well. I don't think it's that. I'm a little worried about those three interior players and their ability to consistently pass block. And then you add in the fact that it's DeForest freaking Buckner and Grover Stewart there in the middle, not to mention Zaire Franklin, EJ Speed, when they bring some heat up the gut as well. CJ Stroud's pocket management is really good. It's borderline excellent on a consistent basis, but he can't do anything with pocket management if it's collapsing from the middle. Jack Mason, Juice Scruggs, and Kenyon Green have to take care of their business. DeForest Buckner and Grover Stewart, if they are living in the backfield, the Texans are going to come home with a loss. They cannot do what they want to do. Get Nico Collins and Tank Dell and Stefon Diggs and Dalton Schultz going if those guys aren't taking care of their business. Throw the ball to Joe Mixon on the outside. They cannot do any of that if DeForest Buckner and Grover Stewart are taking over the offensive line and ruining the operation of the offense. They have to be excellent in those three interior offensive line spots. Scruggs was not good last year at left guard. Kenyon Green obviously didn't play last year. And Shaq Mason was probably one of the 20 best guards in football last year. I'm not as worried about Shaq Mason as I am Scruggs and Kenyon Green. Those two, along with Mason, they've got to be excellent. If Grover Stewart and DeForest Buckner are dominating this game, the Colts might dominate the Texans on Sunday. That is key number two. Key number three is the rushing attack not clicking. If the Texans aren't running the football, it's not impossible to win, but it would go a long, long way into really leaning on this Colts team, taking some juice out of them, and really putting the finishing touches on the Colts for a victory. Here's what I mean. I talked about it earlier with the Texans, and it's sort of the inverse. If they can dominate on the ground, they can wear the Colts out. Think about that defensive line after Joe Mixon's ripping off 4 carries, 4 yards a carry, 4 yards a carry, couple of quick short throws to Stefon Diggs. Chain keeps moving, train stays on time, and all of a sudden the Colts are huffing and puffing. They got their hands on their hips, Grover Stewart and DeForest Buckner and Latu and Kwity Paye and all those guys that they got there in that front seven that are a really impressive front seven are breathing hard, they're sucking wind, and the Texans just start to lean on them. In an ideal world, you get a lead in the NFL and your offensive line and your rushing attack just finish off the opposing team. Get you in a position to make some big plays in the passing game without throwing a ton, and you just finish off the opposing team. That's the ideal way to do it. This Texans team has not run the football consistently at any point in the preseason. Okay? Even some of the Cam Akers success. Go look at the totality of what Cam Akers did in the preseason. It still wasn't amazing. And I know that Joe Mixon wasn't there for a large portion of training camp. And it looked a little bit better when Mixon was in there with Laramie Tunsil and Titus Howard and the three interior starters. So it looked a little bit better, but it's still not excellent, and it's still not clicking to the same level that Shanahan style of offense has been known to click to on the ground. And if they can't run the football, they turn into a one-dimensional team. Yes, you've got a lot of talent in Stefon Diggs and Dalton Schultz and CJ Stroud's ability to get the ball to Tank Dell and Nico Collins, but you cannot live in second and long and third and long all game long and succeed. Mixon's got to make things easy for this team, winning some early downs and running the football. The Texans were putrid in early down runs last year, and they were one of the most frequent early down running teams in the NFL. Bobby Slowick has got to be aware of if that's working. If it's not working, he's got to get it working. And if it's not working on early down runs, don't do early down runs. We saw that change in Tampa Bay last year after the Texans had stunk the joint up on offense for a couple of weeks. They came out, they were throwing a lot on early downs. They were throwing on third and shorts, second and shorts, and supplemented it with a couple of nice moments in the rushing game. That's what the Texans were able to do last year when things weren't working. And if they've got to do that again this year, you got to trust that Bobby Slowick in his second year as the offensive coordinator can make that switch if necessary to go in there. And if they're not running the ball well on early downs, mix in some throws early on, get this offense going. And if you've got second and short and Mixon's punching it through for a nice gain, or third and short and he's resetting the down marker and you're moving the chains, that's going to start to wear on this Colts team. And this is an impressive front seven that Indianapolis has got. I like what they have put together with their front seven. Their secondary, it stinks. It stinks worse than my trash that's got leftover chicken thighs in there that I forgot to take out earlier today. That secondary stinks worse than my trash. But that front seven, it's talented. They can slow you down, and they can stifle and stop your consistency on offense. And if they do that, they've got a chance to win the football game. It's not going to take a lot for the Colts, okay? It's not going to be like they don't have to score 31 if the Texans are disjointed and inconsistent on offense. If the Colts are clicking on the front seven, the Texans can't run the football, can't get some easy downs and get some easy stuff going, it won't take the Colts a whole bunch of points to beat the Houston Texans. Okay. It will keep the Texans in striking distance, though. That's something to think about, that as long as the Texans are within striking distance, they've got the ability to throw themselves back into a game. But they're going to need that rushing attack, especially if you get a nice 13, 16, 14-point lead, like that late third quarter, early fourth quarter. You can put together a 6-7 minute drive, end it with a Kaimi Fairbairn field goal to extend the lead. Bing, bang, boom. Wipe your hands. Go home with a victory in week 1 against the Indianapolis Colts. Those are my 3 keys. If you're watching this after the fact, let me know your 3 keys. If you're in the comment section right now, well, let's get to your comments. Plenty of good stuff in here. Appreciate everybody watching. Michael, good to see you. Brando, good to see you. Excuse me, Bando. Let's see. Yeah, we finally got here, Bando. BG, appreciate you as always. Albert, good to see you. Panda, appreciate you from dropping by. Jake, good to see you. H-Town highlights. Are you rooting for the Chiefs or the Ravens? I go with my guy Mahomes on this one. I love Lamar, but I got to go with Mahomes. Michael says that the Texans defense will shut Jonathan Taylor down. Let's go. Good to see you. Brandon, appreciate you jumping in. Good to see you, Dime. Primetime Vari. Texans front seven can do what they need to do. And what they did to Henry, we are in business. Yeah, they had a lot of success against Derrick Henry last year. Henry's going to be a fun watch tonight. The Ravens do a great job in getting yards before contact for their running backs. David says, Jonathan Taylor, no surprise, contain him. Albert says, defense swarms, Taylor shut down. Boy, wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't that just be a fun way to watch the game? You know, they can't do anything on the ground. Anthony Richardson's throwing interceptions all over the place. John says, go Texans. Good to see you, John. Other John says, Cody, you sexy devil. You're too kind, John. Too kind. You also might need glasses. We will have a receiver open every play. That equals touchdowns. And look, it's going to be tough to defend the Texans, that's for sure. Brandon says, have Anderson and Hunter improved run defensive tackles? And now Azeez, it should be a different story. Well, I hope you're right, Brandon. Azeez Al-Shire is a big key into slowing down Jonathan Taylor. 5th in tackles last year, and he'd be the quick to tell you, a lot of those tackles, over 100 in fact, were within the first 3 yards of the line of scrimmage. And if you can keep Jonathan Taylor to 1, 2, 3 yards per carry, put them in some precarious positions as an opposing offense, you might have some success against the Indianapolis Colts. And one thing Matt Burke said that I thought was pretty interesting is they didn't notice a tremendous amount of difference. Obviously, there's some. They didn't notice a tremendous amount of difference once Minshew was in there. So I do wonder if there's some Shane Steichen staples that the Texans can kind of pull out of what the Colts did when they were successful last year on offense and can maybe be a little bit more ready than, maybe I thought. John says, my first 5 wives like the Colts. I hope the 6th one's a great one for you. Azeez could be the difference maker we need. Function with Swerm. Yeah, Swerm. What about Fairbairn? And he'll have 2 field goals. Yeah, probably 2. Probably 2. I asked a dumb question to Frank Ross today. I've been getting roasted in the group chat all day long for asking if all the indoor stadiums are the same. Are all the domes the same? I was curious. I thought maybe, 1 or 2 was different. Ultimately, the answer was a couple of them can be different. But for the most part, they're all the same. A key to running the ball and stopping the run. Yeah, it gets very basic, very fundamental when you start to think about how you beat a team on a consistent basis. Hey, stop the run the ball well, and you should win, especially when you have a really good quarterback. David says, the first game the Colts took advantage of that rookie Will Anderson. He was not good. He gave up the edge. Those mistakes won't be made. This is actually a great point by David. If you go back and you watch Anthony Richardson's second touchdown run, Will Anderson totally gets fooled by the fake. He just chases the ball fake, totally leaves Richardson out there to just have one guy to beat. He does. He takes it in for the touchdown. Will Anderson does not get fooled very often. He eats up play fakes a lot of times, and he did it last year after that Colts game, and I believe he'll do it again. Running's going to open up that pass game. You nailed it. That is absolutely the case. Dime says, do you think our pass game will open up the run game? Not necessarily, but you could use some of that short passing. We saw it in the preseason. 3rd and 1, Stefon Diggs, 10-yard slant for a first down. You can use some of that short passing. Not quite the same as in college, but sometimes coaches, especially some of these more aggressive younger offenses, they'll use some short passing to sort of mimic a run play. Hey, we know we're only going to get a handful of yards on this. Let's go get it, get us a new set of downs, and keep things going. Good to see you, Cody. Appreciate you. Scott says, hey, Cody, longtime fan from Scotland. Thanks for keeping me updated. Scott, I appreciate you, man. We've heard from people from Sweden, Hungary. I know we've got some in London, some in Thailand, Germany. Now we add Scotland to the equation. What was the really nice city? Vienna. We had some Austrians in here. So Texans fans worldwide. Appreciate you checking in, Scott. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Yeah, there were some moments where Bobby Slowick was maybe overcommitted to that rushing attack. He figured it out, though. He got it squared away. Mr. Bo on the top, good to see you. Doing great, man. Great. I Must Pandaline says hit the like button. It's a little thumbs up button down there. Appreciate you. And while you're down there, while you're headed down there to the description, check out my friends at Prize Picks. Prize Picks, the best and easiest way to play daily fantasy. They've got the Caleb Williams, I call it a freebie square. Okay. Caleb Williams, more than half a passing yard. It's here for the whole month of September. When you sign up with my code Stoots, STOOTS, you're going to play your first 5 and then you're going to get $50. How great is that? You don't even have to win on your first play. Just put your first entry together. As few as 2, as many as I think you can put 6, 7 with Prize Picks together. You're just predicting more or less on given stats. For instance, more or less on 61.5 receiving yards for Travis Kelce tonight. Probably go with less, but I do like him to score a touchdown in the matchup tonight. Prize Picks, the link in the description down below should autofill that Stoots code for you. If not, use that code Stoots when you sign up at Prize Picks and play your first 5 and get $50. Thanks to my friends at Prize Picks. They're a great sponsor of the channel. Please check them out. Let's see here. Cody giving the keys to the game. Yeah, that's the keys. Jake says swarm the like button. Appreciate that. Good to see you in here, Josh. It's Shalecki. It's Shakeli. It's Shaquille. It's Shaquille. We'll go with it, Shaquille. Let's go Texans. Big Al, good to see you. Don't forget to join the Survivor pool, folks. You beat me, you win a prize. You beat everybody, you win a bigger prize. And you win the small prize, too. Jerome Kick says, nice to have a good run game, but we have 3 dogs at wide receiver and a couple of tight ends. Let's throw it around the yard. Sure, I'm down with that. But you want to grind a team, you want to get a lead and grind a team out with that rushing attack. On paper, is there an offense scarier than ours? I mean, well, the Chiefs are always scary because they've got Mahomes and they've got Andy Reid. I mean, I like the Texans' talent better. On paper, I mean, the Texans are the on-paper champs. You don't play football on paper. Good to see you, Prestaton? Maybe it's just Preston. Bandos has been watching since your wheelhouse days, and no joke, you look a lot happier, man. Easy to support you and keep up the great work, Cody. Thank you so much, man. I'm having a lot of fun. This has been the most rewarding year plus of my media career. Having a blast to get to hang out with you guys, talk Texans all the time, to hang out with my best friend Landry, talk Texans all the time. Great to catch up with Will Kunkel out there. By the way, check out Kicking It with Kunkel, the preview with myself, DJ BNMA, and Will Kunkel from Fox 26. That's the link in the description down below as well. Preview the season for you. Man, it's truly a blessing I get to do this, and I get to do this because of the great support that you guys have given me. So I really appreciate that, and I really appreciate the kind words and all that kind of stuff that you guys send. There's talk QB might not count against the salary cap. If that happens in a couple of years, what will the Texans pay CJ Stroud? We're talking $80 million, maybe $100 million. It's a gazillion. I don't know. Make up one of those. He'll just give him the Scrooge McDuck vault. He'll just jump in there. Okay. Oh, Jerome checking in from Mars. Cody Stoots, #1 Texans channel with the Martians. I like that. BG with the super chat, man. Woo! My friend, thank you so much for the great support. You are a great supporter. You're always in the comment section coming through here with the super chat. If you got a super chat, you go to the front of the line here. He says, what's on everyone's menu for Sunday? I'm going ribs. Still need to figure out the sides. Freaking go Texans. Okay, so it's cooling off just a little bit. So you can get a little bit heavier with the sides. If you're gonna have, if you're gonna have ribs, you get a little heavier with the sides. It's cooling off a little bit. So maybe something like a creamed corn to go with the ribs. Okay, you don't like to, get the plate too messy and then everything's kind of running together. But a creamed corn, you maybe serving a little ramekin off to the side. That'd be good, especially if you're smoking the ribs, you throw the creamed corn on there a little bit. You smoke the creamed corn a little bit as well. So maybe one of those. Not a huge potato salad fan, but, if you want a potato salad, that'd be a good one. Um, and ribs, use pork. So like some. I mean, if you want to get real creative, you can do like some smoked applesauce, or if you wanted something a little bit lighter because you are having ribs, you probably got a big barbecue sauce on it. It's a little heavy. You could do like an apple like an apple slaw. So get you a couple apples, cut them into little matchsticks. Make like a really light vinaigrette, toss them with some greens, and you got kind of a lighter apple pairs well with pork, so that'd be good. And if you're not cooking ribs, I'm on a big nacho kick right now. So nachos would be what I would do if I was making it. BG, I appreciate that. I know you weren't looking for sides recommendations from me, but I threw in a little bit of my Food Network in there for you. So BG, I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much for the super chat. Very kind, very generous. Let's see here. Dime says, I'm thinking mixing catching out of the backfield will bail us out of some crappy situation. Might be right about that, Dime. His ability to catch the football in the backfield is an underrated aspect to his game that we don't talk about enough. John, I'm not reading where you're from. That's not, I don't believe you. I don't believe that you're actually from Mines. I have high expectations for this defense this year. Have to get off the field on third down. Yeah, look, this is the type of defense that could get kind of deflated with some third down success by the opposing team. It just feels like, they kind of were beating their head against the wall early on in the season because some quick stuff just eats them alive on third down. Sumo asks the important question: did you ever do a video of the schedule win-loss projections? I did when it came out, but Sumo, the folks have been asking for it here on the channel, and I told you before Thursday Night Football, we would play what I call the win-win loss-loss game. We'll find out what the schedule prediction is, and we will find out right now. I will do it right now. I've got my wonderful deep steel, H-Town blue color over here. This is the actual H-Town blue color, and I'll just go through and we'll put a W or an L on these games. Let's start with week 1. Okay. The folks wanted a win-win loss-loss game. Let's start with week 1, the Indianapolis Colts. That one's going to be a W. I'm predicting the Texans are going to beat the Colts this weekend. That shouldn't be a shocker. If you've heard me talk about Anthony Richardson, that shouldn't be a surprise to you. The Texans are favored in this one. They've basically been favored since you could put money on this game. I believe they're going to defeat the Colts. They're going to come home week 2. Caleb Williams starting for the Chicago Bears, probably coming off a loss. But you know what the Bears are going to get? They're going to get another loss. This is going to be a big W right here. The Bears are much more talented than they were yet last year. They've got a good wide receiver room. They've got some impressive defensive players. I don't like their coach. I don't like their offensive coordinator. Some rookie mistakes doom Caleb Williams, and the Texans find themselves with a 2-0 start. What more do I need to say about the Minnesota Vikings? I don't believe in Sam Darnold. Justin Jefferson's going to be a tough cover. I don't even know who their running backs are going to be and if they're going to be able to run the football in Minnesota. I like their coach. Kevin O'Connell seems like a good dude, but this is not a game the Houston Texans are going to lose. The Jacksonville Jaguars are coming to town. Last year, the Jaguars came to town. They beat up on the Texans. It ended up being a close game, but they are not going to beat up on the Texans again. This one is also gonna be a dub. A 4-0 start for the Houston Texans. This schedule shook out in a very, very advantageous way. You got some pretty unimpressive opponents, some teams that need to figure some things out early on. So, 4-0 to start. Stefon Diggs' former team. You think that Stefon Diggs, by the way, this will be the debut of the H-Town blue uniforms. You think Stefon Diggs is letting the Texans lose this football game? No, thank you. They are not going to lose this football game. Josh Allen might go for 400 yards of total offense, but that's not going to be enough. The Bills' defense crumbles. CJ Stroud and Stefon Diggs connect for a game winner late in that one. Now, There's one of these games every year. Okay. Last year, the Texans had a few of them, actually. It was Atlanta, it was Carolina, and hey, coming off a big, fun, emotional one, looking ahead to a fun one against Green Bay, you have a little hiccup. You have a little hiccup. Okay. And a really crappy Patriots team, they stick it to you a little bit. And you have a little hiccup. But if you start 5-1 over the first 6, I mean, come on. What more could you ask for? I guess you could ask for 6-0, but there's always a hiccup game. Okay. I choose to make this one the hiccup game. All right. But there's always a hiccup game. Okay. That takes us to week 7, Lambeau Field. 2 of the best young quarterbacks in football. I used to be very, very skeptical that Jordan Love was going to be any good. If I continued to go down that path, I'd be foolish. Love, I believe, is going to throw the snot out of the football this year. And that defense in Green Bay, it's a little iffy. They're going to have to throw a lot. He's going to have some impressive passing stats. Is he going to have enough to beat the Texans? Here's what I would tell you. And I know the chat's saying there's no way we're going to lose to the Patriots. I said the same thing about the Panthers last year. I said the same thing about the Atlanta Falcons last year, and they lost one of those games. Everybody has a hiccup, even the Chiefs, the Ravens. Everybody has a hiccup. There's a hiccup. Okay, you stumble, you stub your toe a little bit in the middle of the night. I don't believe they're winning both these games. Okay, I'm going to tell you that I would think they're going to split these games. Pick it however you want to pick it. I'm going to tell you that they beat Green Bay in a little bit of a shootout, but the Colts sneak one from you at home. You beat them up. Flacco's maybe going by now. They get some, a higher floor. Their defense clicks a little bit more. They figure it out a little bit more in the secondary. You could very easily flip-flop these. Okay? But I'm going to go with a win against Green Bay on the road, a loss at home for the Indianapolis Colts. Short week, coming off a loss, you're refocused, you're ready. I do not believe in the New York Jets this year. This one's a dub revenge. Nico Collins, CJ Stroud, huge games for both of them after they both got knocked out against the Jets last year. That's a big one. A potential Super Bowl matchup preview on Sunday Night Football as the Motor City Kitties come to town for this one. You know what? Dan Campbell, nice guy. Seems like he's a little over aggressive. He makes some interesting calls, doesn't go the Lions' way, and the Texans rattle off a dub against the Motor City Kitties. So looking at this right now, you start 5-1. You move to 6-1, 6-2, okay? 7-2, 8-2. Cowboys, I can't pick the Texans to lose to the Cowboys. Plus, they have a little bit of an extra day to get ready. Cowboys, by this portion of the season, maybe they know that Mike McCarthy is not going to be the guy. Maybe they give up on their head coach. Maybe they put up a good fight, but the Texans win that one. So, 2 divisional games and then the bye week come your way here for the Houston Texans. And you start to look at this schedule, and only 2 losses on the schedule on this one. I don't believe in the Tennessee Titans. I don't believe they're going to be very good this year. I don't like their new coach. I don't believe in Will Levis. They're not going to beat you. That's a win. The Jaguars get a rare victory over the Texans on this one. It's just the season catches up to you. Okay? The season catches up to you. All right. It becomes difficult to play 13 straight weeks of football with the long preseason. The schedule catches up to you. You drop one to the Jaguars. You get a nice, fantastic bye week here. Relax, kick your feet up. All right. And you're sitting here. You've only got 3 losses on your schedule. All right. Only got 3 losses. These 3 games help to kind of determine how things are going to go in the AFC seeding of things. I like this Dolphins team. I believe they're going to win the AFC East. I don't believe they're better than the Houston Texans. Okay. I don't believe they're better than the Houston Texans. So I don't believe they're the better. Week 15, they should be as healthy or much healthier than they are when they're starting the season. you're still beating the Dolphins coming off of a bye week here. Okay? You're still beating the Dolphins. All right? You beat Miami, you hand them a loss, and then you've got that short week to get to Kansas City, then the short week, Christmas Day against the Ravens. All right? I'm not picking against the Chiefs at home in December, outside. CJ Stroud, much better inside than outside. I'm not picking against the Kansas City Chiefs. But, oh my, what a Merry Christmas we will all have as the Texans finally get over that Ravens hump. Derrick Henry back in town with the Baltimore Ravens, and a similar result to when he was a Tennessee Titan finishing up his time against the Texans. Can't get it going on the ground. The Texans finally outgun and outshoot Lamar Jackson in a matchup and get a victory there. That leads us to the last week of the season. Okay? I believe because of this matchup here, the Houston Texans will not care what happens in the final week of the season. And I believe that they will rest players in the final week of the season. And at Tennessee, they take their final loss of the season. And that brings us to a 5-loss schedule here. Oh, did I put that right? 5? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I had them 4 losses. I've been saying 12, but here I go. I go through the schedule here. I don't know if I'm finding all these losses. 3 straight primetime victories is maybe a little bit over there, a little bit of overshooting maybe. But I guess I'm sitting here and I got the Texans at 13-4. Man, I think I would maybe I change one of these primetime ones. I feel like 12 wins is probably where they get. I have 5 losses. 1, 2, 3, 4. Where's the 5th one? Am I missing one? Oh, the Jaguars right there. Oh, can't count. Can't see. There we go. Where's my little eraser button? How do I erase on Paint? Oh, you know what I'll do here? Give me that eraser button here. No, that's not an eraser. There we go. That Jaguars one was sneaking up on me. Yeah, so 12-5. That's what I've been trying to get to the whole time. Good Lord. 12-5, not 13. 12-5. And as Space Age says, 11-6, you probably win the division. All right. 12-5. There's the win-win loss-loss game. I've been trying to get to 12-5 the whole time. I kept missing this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 12-5 would be one hell of a season, right? All right, let's see what the folks think. Dime says, ain't no way we're losing in Jacksonville. 12 straight weeks of football catch up to you at some point, okay? 12 straight weeks of football catch up to you at some point. It becomes very difficult to win when you have that much football on your resume up to that point. Like it's a very, very tough thing to do. Dime, I appreciate the super chat, by the way. It's just very hard to win that much football. Yeah, 12-5 is what I've been getting to. Sumo says I'm very reasonable. Jeff says, I'm going to be at the Bills game on my birthday. We've never lost on my birthday or against the Bills when I've been there. Jeff, we need to send you to every Bills game. All right. Brandon says, I don't see us going 3-3 in the division with this team. You know, you're right. Again, the Titans one at the end of the year is a throwaway. So, you know, if you want to say 13-4 because they actually win that last game of the season but don't get the top seed, that's fine. Like, if you tell me it's 4-2, like I'll believe you. I'll believe you. You know, the Ravens were 3-3 in their division last year, and they won their division, and they won their division handily. By the way, you know, in one of the toughest divisions in football. Like if you're 3-3, like it's not like you've had a bad season because you had 3-3 in division. Rich Boy asked, seeding prediction. You have a shot at the first round bye. You beat the Kansas City Chiefs. I feel like you got a shot at the bye. If you beat the Chiefs or the Ravens, that should be who's kind of fighting for that top seed. You beat one of those two teams, you find yourself with an opportunity to have that first round bye. Space Age, the rat poison is real. Hey, they don't listen to me. And if they're reading their news clippings, the Miko will get them refocused real fast. H-Town's Ultimate agrees with me. Resting the starters on the final week. What a nice touch. That'd be tremendous. Yeah, be right? Oh, yeah, here we go. Davis Mills gets us there against the Titans on the last game of the season. I like that. Oh, somebody missed with 10 a couple of years ago, right? 2021. Maybe it was 2022. Somebody had 10 and they missed out, maybe. I don't know. I feel like 10's that number. Oh, the Patriots missed when they had 10 wins one year. Yeah. Albert wants 16-1. I mean, wouldn't that be nice, right? You watching the game tonight? Of course. Oh, within the division? So worst division record, but still made the playoffs? Or best division record to miss the playoffs? Let's pull that up here. That's, I think, what you mean. Let's see here. Pittsburgh was 5-1 in the division, but they made it. I mean, Jacksonville was 4-2 in the division. They missed the playoffs last year. The Raiders were 4-2 in the division. They missed the playoffs last year. The Saints were 4-2, and they missed the division. They missed the playoffs last year into the division. You get to 5-1 in your division, you basically can say you're making the playoffs. Like, 4-2 gives you a really good shot, but 5-1, you're basically in. Nosh, look, I'm telling you, I don't want them to lose the Patriots. It's be sickening. And maybe I'm wrong, and maybe a really great team doesn't have that hiccup game. You just got to have a hiccup game in the prediction game. All right? You just got to have a hiccup game. So, got the schedule prediction in. We're about 30 minutes out from football getting going. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Okay? Don't forget to check out Houston football for all the fantastic stuff. Putting some stuff there in the chat for you. Hey, don't even, check out my friend Landry Locker at the locker room. I got these fancy little buttons over here that make that writing stuff, automatic easy. Jim says, I joined the Survivor game this year as co-champion last year, which means I'll probably get eliminated in week 1 this year. Not going to be fun. Not going to be fun if that happens for you. Hopefully you won't beat me if you get eliminated in week 1. That'd be the worst case scenario, is everybody beats me because I get eliminated in week 1. I'll tell you right now who I'm picking. I'm picking the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm picking the Cincinnati Bengals to win. So I'm picking the Cincinnati Bengals. So if you want to pick the Bengals too, get them out of the way. Case KK, Stoots spelled backward is still Stoots. That's correct. It is a palindrome, like race car, radar, and taco cat. My last name is a palindrome. Wish there was something cool about that beyond the ability to spell it backwards or forwards, but that is how I live now with a palindrome name. If my middle name was Radar, I could have had a middle name and if my first name was Bob, I had had a full palindrome name, Bob Stoots. The heck is a taco cat? Oh, you got to play. There's like a card game with taco cat. You get one of those spiffy HF blue hats. You mean one of these H-Town's Ultimate? I have one left on the shop. So, if you'd like it, the shop link is going to be in the chat here in just a second, as soon as I get logged into the shop portion. Got red hats, obviously. Sold out of the blue ones. But if you want a blue one, get that in there. I probably need to put that in the quick key. So 3 days away. I'm so ready. Me too, Kenneth. Me too. Yeah, no fantasy football league because not everybody can get in there. Not everybody pays attention every week. But the Survivor Pool is a great way to do it. So check out the Survivor Pool. It's in the link in the description down below. So, Teeman, good to see you from Canada. Need the run D to hold up, contain Anthony Richardson, utilize the mismatches from our wide receivers to their corners. Every wide receiver corner matchup is a mismatch for those cats. They do not have a good secondary. And you're right, Teeman. If the run defense holds up in the middle, and that front seven for the Texans can just slow Taylor enough, they'll be in a good spot. They'll be in a real good spot. Teeman, I appreciate the super chat, my friend. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Oh boy. Hold on, I lost my screen here. All right, here we go. Let's see. Any more? Any notes from practice today? Everybody but MJ Stewart practice. Everybody but MJ Stewart practice. Please tell us the live chat schedule for the season. Still figuring that out. Here's what I can tell you. Monday at 8 a.m. live on the channel with Landry Locker. Monday, 8 a.m. live. Reaction Monday. Do not miss that. Do not miss that. Not that it matters who you got. I got the Chiefs tonight. Okay. Housekeeping for everybody. Check out Prize Picks, please. Check out Prize Picks. Do a fantastic job. Get signed up. Stoots is the promo code. Use the link in the description down below. My buddy Jeff won $900 on Prize Picks the other day. He is over the moon, and now he's playing a ton more Prize Picks, which is great. He's got a lot of stuff to play with. My buddy Jeff won $900 on Prize Picks the other day. Okay, you can get in on Prize Picks. Hey, play your first 5, you get $50 to play with as well. You don't have to win your first 5. Play your first 5, and you're gonna get that $50. Use the code Stoots, STOOTS, in the link in the description down below. Prize Picks, the best and easiest way to play what? Daily fantasy. Check them out. Join the Survivor Pool. If you haven't joined the Survivor Pool, tell your friends about the video. Hold me accountable to 12-5, and I'm sure I'll hear it when the Texans demolish the Patriots. Plenty more stuff coming your way before the game on Sunday, so don't miss out on that. Appreciate everybody for jumping in. Oh, Gavin has a question. Do you think you could have Coach Ryan sign a ball for me at practice? No, I cannot do that for you. I can't help you with that. But if you mail it to the Texans, sometimes they can help you out. But I can't help you with that. A couple of last thoughts. Any games live? No, probably no live games, but be live pretty quick right after the games. Wish I won 900. Play Prize Picks. Maybe you can. Well, you already got one, right? Or did you buy? Or you just bought it? I thought I sent you one. Oh no, yeah, you got it right here. You're the man. I'll put it aside and I'll put it in the mail tomorrow. Duke says JJ needs to stop BS and sign that contract. He was here for the pump up thing. Isn't that enough for everybody? All right. Thank you everybody for watching. Check out Prize Picks. Join the Survivor Pool. Couple of more days before the season gets here. Still stuff to talk about with this Texans team. And yeah, we got a lot of fun, man. A lot of fun this season. It's going to be a badass season. So much fun. Thank you everybody for watching today. And thank you, H-Town's Ultimate, for buying a hat. I will make sure I get that in the mail to you. Let's see here. I think we're good. Check out Kicking with Kunkel. All the stuff in the description. All that kind of stuff. Thank you, everybody, for watching. And we end the live streams the same way every time. My hope for you is my charge for you as well. I want you to eat good. I want you to sleep good. I want you to be good. We'll talk Texans again soon. Thanks for watching, everybody.